Well, hello everybody and God bless. This is Jonathan Reichel and
Anthony Graniero.
And I think it's a kind of an interesting experience at this point because I have finally arrived in the great country of
India.
And I'm interviewing
Indian American
an American guy in India. I know it's kind of funky there, but the excitement, just to kind of catch you up, I actually filmed 3 different versions of this week's episode at various stages in my travels, but for some reason my camera, which I've lost again. Anyway, I'm having some technical difficulties, which you might be able to help me out with.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Smart people here. But anyway, so the current excitement is I finally landed in India, and after I think a total of about 23 hours worth of delays, I ended up arriving in New Delhi 2 hours before the original delay time, which meant that I still ended up waiting once I arrived in India for everyone to get here and catch up. But anyway, you were there to welcome me, so thank you so much for welcoming me. I felt very welcomed. I felt very good. And we are going to be talking a little bit about your adventure. You've been here in India for, well, first let's get a little bio here. Not all of you guys know Anthony, but you're about to, because you're a cool guy. I think the consensus between the two of us, we agree that you are
sort of cool, hopefully.
Yeah, well, it's 50-50, and you round up from 5, so
that works.
100% cool.
Okay.
So, Anthony, you're in India now, and you've been in India for a while, but before that, tell us a little bit about you. Who are you, and what do you like to do?
Well, I am Anthony. I play music in Atlanta.
Okay.
This is good. I enjoy moving the word and standing for God. This is something we pound on and explode.
We do that too. Yeah, fireworks.
Bombs over the world of love and joy. Yeah, so my dad is a minister in Atlanta, and so I've been raised in the Word all of my life. Recently, have really like kind of dove back into it, so that's a good thing, and I've been seeing God like really bless my life tremendously recently. So there's a lot to share, a lot to talk about. So
that's awesome. So you've been here in India. Is this your first time, or have you been before?
This is actually my first time in India. Didn't know what to expect, but like I have a wonderful family that I'm living with, and so it's been like a super blessing. Really smooth too. Actually, I was surprised how nice it was.
So share with our buddies online that might even be thinking about coming to India and hanging out with the Baineses and seeing how God's working here. What originally inspired you to make the plunge and actually, hop over the sea and come to India?
Oh gosh,
what got you going there?
Well, I guess just like meeting some of the Indian believers, like as when they would come to like the States, we would host like the Baines family. And Ashish and his dad,
Love Ashish.
Yeah, love him. Love you, man. And so yeah, like just like meeting them, and just also, I don't know, Indian food, hearing about the Indian believers, how God's like tremendously moving here. It's absolutely incredible just to hear these testimonies. So I wanted to come and kind of see these different fellowships, and firsthand experience this stuff, because maybe it still happens in the States, of course, but since the Word's newly growing here, we see a lot of like growth spiritually and a lot of like demonstration of power here. So
it's really fresh, and you can feel the vibe of people getting excited over it.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I filmed Treasures of India, as some of you guys might have checked out on various YouTube stuffs.
Beautiful video.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. Making me feel good on the episode. But yeah, I filmed Treasures of India here in New Delhi and a little bit north, a little bit south this past year in December of 08. Is it 09 already?
Is it?
It's almost done.
Almost the end of 09.
What happened to this year? Anyway, film Treasures of India, and one thing that I noticed is exactly what you're noticing, is that because the Word is so fresh here, and because people haven't grown up with churches on every street corner, it's exciting.
Yeah.
And they're really seeing powerful testimonies and powerful things of God happening in everyday occurrences. Like they don't wait for Sunday for the guy to lay hands on them. They just believe for it and it happens.
Yeah.
And for the rest of the time here, well, actually, leading up to this point, what are some things that God has kind of whispered to you along the way, or things that have just smacked you over the head about how God is working here, and what has God shared with you personally about just how He works?
Well, let's see. I guess one of the biggest things God's been showing me is how simple it truly is. You don't have to do a million spiritual push-ups to be able to like perform amazing miracles. Just as easily as we speak in tongues or as we believe God, we can also heal the sick, we can cast out devils, we can do tremendous things.
Yeah.
I think there was a really cool testimony for me, like as a part of we recently got back from a trip up to the mountains and things, and when I first arrived, I didn't sleep on the plane, and I wasn't able to sleep here really. There was a couple hours. I got in late, and so we had to leave early the next morning. And then our first night in the hotel was really, really crazy. There was like no heat and stuff, and my back was like killing me from being on a plane and not sleeping. So it ended up being like 3 days of not sleeping. But on the second day, I went to God about it, and I was like I was laying in bed in my hotel, and kind of just at first asking him if he could just put me to sleep. And as like I had too much on my mind, I was too distracted, so I wasn't able to really like trust God for that. So I just kind of stayed in prayer for a while, just lifted some different things up, and then just asked God to completely just multiply my sleep and give me like energy as if I were sleeping, even though I wasn't able to, because the next day we were going to go to some fellowships, and I really wanted to get as much as possible out of them. Didn't want to be sleepy and nodding off in a fellowship that I was coming here for. Like I flew on a plane for this reason, and I can't be sleeping during it. So it was tremendous. Like I got up, I went on top of the roof and just continued praying, and then spent a little bit of time in fellowship with Sean West. You guys probably know him.
He was actually one of the previous episodes.
Oh, right on.
Go back, watch that episode. Sean's awesome. God bless you,
brother. Love you, man. So we were just kind of hanging out, and then it was time to go to the fellowship, and I noticed kind of halfway through that I felt like I had had a completely full night of sleep. This was the second day, and then, or maybe the third day. Well, it happened again. I wasn't able to sleep. But this whole time, I felt completely energized, as if I was sleeping a 7-hour, 8-hour night.
It's like God's can of Red Bull right there.
Yeah. Red Bull and no crash.
Sweet.
I did have wings.
Points for that one.
Totally.
Yeah. You guys may use that. I like that.
Spiritual wings. Speak in tongues.
I like it.
So like it was really amazing. Just that like nothing is too difficult for God. Nothing's too small. Like just multiplying my sleep, giving me the mental clarity and lucidity to be able to just get what I needed and see and receive fully and experience fully these fellowships. It was tremendous. I've never experienced anything like this. In college, I would try and pull all-nighters, and it was nuts. Like it wouldn't work.
We've been there. Yeah,
get the shakes and so like that was awesome, and I mean other things too.
Yeah, and that is such a cool concept, such a cool testimony, because we think of testimonies as like I was healed of cancer, and I was my son was raised from the dead, and we of course we hear these amazing testimonies of just like biblical style epic miracles. But sometimes especially we in America, we don't always need gigantic miracles on a daily basis. We just simply don't need them because frankly we're pretty blessed. All over the world we're pretty blessed. But everyone can use energy. Everyone needs rest, and everyone needs to have that kind of push to make it through the day and not just survive through the day, but really excel through the day. Right. And I love that. Even in that specific instance where it wasn't God heal my broken leg, it was God give me the energy. Give me the passion, give me the fire to make this day important and to make this day special, and he did it for you. Yeah, I mean it's so cool, and miraculously too. Like I've never ever experienced this before in this way, and so that was really amazing. Just like knowing that God was there, like giving me wings. Gave you wings. Learn that, children at home. God will give you wings without even needing a recyclable aluminum can. He'll hook you up with it. Totally. Well, that is so cool, and thank you so much for sharing that, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, no problem. And so I'm going to be here in India for the next 2.5 weeks. So the next couple of episodes, I hope to have some exciting interviews with other of our friends and believers here in India, and of course starting with Mr. Graniero himself. So thank you for joining the online posse. Awesome, and we're looking forward to seeing you guys as we move forward. Again, this is Jonathan Reichel and
Anthony Graniero,
live from India. We love you guys, and we'll see you next week.
All right, God bless.
Bye-bye.